Can we not say that I'm dating? Because that sounds like I'm dating multiple people.
What do I say?
Sorry,
in a relationship.
Okay, yeah, that sounds much better.
She's got a boyfriend.
Do you know what most people always say? Single, dating, married.
Hello guys, today we're going to do a little video all about love because it is the Valentine's season, it is February, and we are all actually at different stages of love lives. That's the thing. So we've got Ella over here who is currently in a relationship. She's got a boyfriend. And then we've got Kate in the middle who is single and ready to mingle. And we've got me who is married with a child. So yeah, we're at very different stages of our journey. We're all different ages as well, and we just wanted to chat about a few of the key questions that kind of come up around this area of relationships, love, etc. So Kate has got some questions for us, and yeah.
So I thought to start off the video we need to have a little bit of an icebreaker.
Great.
So the first question is, who was your first ever love?
I think it was the Red Power Ranger.
Really?
Yeah.
You can't see her face.
No, you can.
Oh yeah,
Don't they take their helmets off? Yeah, it was the red one.
Yeah.
Because I remember me and my sisters used to watch it, and one of my sister's first love was Leonardo DiCaprio.
Same. So that was my first love.
God.
Yeah, and I literally had the biggest poster. It was massive, and I had it above my bed, and every single night I'd kiss it.
Oh.
And he's actually still single, so Leo, if you're watching this.
Well, I don't know if he's the right kind of person though for
No, but
a lovely Christian lady,
What about you, Ella?
So I was saying on the way here, I don't remember who my first love was, but I remember my best friend was Omarion, but it was an unhealthy obsession.
Oh no.
Where she would be like, yeah, we're only 5 years apart, and obviously right now I'm 12, but when I'm 21, he'll be 26 and it'll be okay, and we'll be together.
Oh man.
So yeah, it was literally, I had posters everywhere.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the way to express your love back then, with a poster.
It was.
See, now you can follow them on Instagram, but back then...
Yeah, it gets a little bit creepier, isn't it? You can constantly see them. Like that one.
Talking about love, I felt like the first question we need to answer is, what do we actually think that love is?
It's a big one.
It's a hard one.
So, I'll go first.
Okay.
I feel like, for me, what I've really learned about love is that it's not just a word, it's actually actions and how someone treats you and how they put your feelings above their own. So it's very much it's love is obviously from somebody that's given to you, but it's something that they do for you. It can't just be I love you. It has to be followed up with an action.
Yeah.
I used to think that love was a feeling, but now I definitely think it's a choice, because if you've been with someone for so long and they're really annoying you, obviously you've been married for a long time, but you have to choose to love that person. It's not just about what you feel, because your feelings can lie to you. So
yeah,
it's definitely a choice that you've got to make.
Yeah, I think love actually isn't for you. To love is it's a verb, it's a doing word, and you can be loved, but love itself, if you choose to love, you're actually choosing to put someone else first, put someone else's needs above your own. And so when you look for love and you're looking for the one, you're actually looking for someone that you can put first, rather than someone to just put you first.
Yeah, it's not really about everything that you want, it's about
yeah.
that other person. But I also think as well, in a relationship, love is a two-way thing, and it's two people working on it together. And I think one thing that I learned is when I was in love with somebody who 100% did not love me back, and because the way that they treated me wasn't very nice, and actually so you think you're in a situation and oh my gosh, I love this person, but actually when it's not reciprocated and someone's not showing it back,
really,
that's not that actually isn't real. You're not experiencing love with this person. It's meant to be a two-way thing. God created us out of love for love, and the whole free will and the fact that it's a choice is because he wants us to have that relationship with him and love him back. So I think that's one thing that I really learned, is that love is meant to be a two-way thing. You're not meant to love somebody more than they love you, or someone who doesn't love you back.
Also, I think you need to love yourself first. If you don't love yourself, then you can never show somebody else love. You can never receive love from somebody else. You'll always be disappointed.
Definitely.
Yeah. So if that's not something that you can do, then it's never going to really work.
Yeah. But why do you think it makes such an impact?
Because you're just relying on that person to give you something that they can't.
Yeah.
And you have to ultimately understand that, like, how much God loves you to be able to love yourself, and how can you love somebody that like that you don't have that understanding of your own life. So yeah,
definitely. And I think as well, like, even as Christians, we kind of have like an upper hand, or like a secret knowledge, where it's like we're constantly being exposed to what love is by like reading the Bible and by experiencing God's grace and forgiveness and mercy like every day, and that is actually what love is. So then when something doesn't match that in a like human relationship, you can see it a lot easier, whereas I think sometimes if you're not necessarily exposed to that Christian environment, you watch programs like Love Island and stuff like that, and you see this like version of love where you're like, nah, that's messed up, like that's not right, but people don't necessarily know it, so it's like important to have these conversations.
And I think Love Island's a really good example of where it's always about like, what can that other person give me,
not what can I give them.
And like people, even like in their conversations, it will be like, what do you look for, and it's always about like aesthetics and like materialistic things, and never about like questioning like what kind of like what drives you, what you're passionate about, like what do you want to do with your life. Like it's very superficial. How did you know when you fell in love, or like even if it's not who you're in love now, but like as a mom, it probably doesn't really.
That's for me. That's actually really applicable to me.
Well, I actually have a really clear memory of, so when me and Isaac first got together, I was working at Marks and Spencer's part-time because I was at uni. Was that uni? Yeah, I was at uni, and I just remember one day walking into Marks and Spencer's for my shift, and I used to find it so boring working there, but I just literally felt like I was like springing along, like woo! And I was so happy, and I think that was very much like a, what's the thing, like, not infatuation, but like the excitement. Lust? No, not lust.
Wow.
What is it when you're just like, oh, I'm so excited? Like,
It is infatuation.
Is it love? Yeah, so it was like the early stages of love where I was like, oh my gosh. Like,
honeymoon period.
Yeah, like I was just so excited, and I would like think about it and be like, oh my god, and just like want to smile and want to tell everyone. But then, like, sometimes you just have to calm yourself. But then there's like further down the line as it goes along, like I think love evolves and develops, and I think now there's like such a deeper sense of love when you go through like big things together, when you go through like big life changes or hard times, you see like a completely different side of love. And actually, like when I can be so annoying, and I think having someone that can like forgive me and like just constantly be patient, I'm like, oh okay, this person like really loves me, that's what like this love is.
Maybe for me, like when you constantly want to put that person before you all the time, like that's your first, like you always think about them before you think about yourself. But then I remember watching a sermon where the pastor was saying you don't actually know real love until you're married, because until you're married, there's, maybe this isn't the case like if you've been with someone for a really long time, but when you haven't been through certain situations with them, you won't know how much you love them, because you don't know what it's going to be like to go through those situations and come out through it the other side. So maybe that's like, as you said, love can evolve, so it'll hopefully go stronger and stronger as the years go on.
Exactly.
No, I agree. I feel like when you feel like that person's more important than everything that like you want, and you have that feeling, like I remember like my boyfriend at uni, like we were together for ages, and it was just like I just felt like I just always wanted him around, and like he was just the first person to like ring and like tell anything, and like you just want to like share everything with them, and you kind of have that like, I don't feel like for me there was ever like a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, now I know I'm in love with you. It was more just like we just fell in love, and like we both, it was like reciprocated in that like we would both call and text each other like the first people to like tell something that had just happened, and it's just like, it's almost like you just develop this little like bubble of routine that you guys have. And it's like, oh, it's like a little love bubble.
It's so good. I feel like as well, I don't know, thinking back to when me and my husband first met, I feel like I started to change as a person for the better, in that like I was kind of like, he was uncovering in me like dreams that I had for my own life, or things about my personality that I would kind of shut down, or I don't know, and it was like someone bringing the best out of you.
Yeah.
I think that's always like a really good thing, and you should feel safe and you should feel confident.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't, I don't think it's really love if someone is like making you feel rubbish about yourself, or being like super critical all the time.
You should be able to be 100% yourself.
Exactly, and you should be able to even like say the things that are like the secrets of your heart, in terms of like things that you dream for your life. To have someone where you can be like, oh, like, this is what I'd love to do, and them to encourage that. And even to be honest, like some dreams might be like unachievable. I don't know, just give you a reality check. But yeah, I don't know, I just think someone...
I'm a singer. You can't leave in my dream. But I think that's really true. And also I feel like on the flip side of it, like you might feel like, I've been in a situation where like I was in love with that person, but I didn't necessarily realise that the way that they were being didn't mean that they were in love with me. And I feel like you have to be careful with that as well. Like just because you feel like you're in love with someone, it doesn't mean that they feel the same. And that's like what we were saying earlier about like understanding what love is. And like if someone's like making you feel like rubbish about yourself, and they're like bringing you down, just because you love them, that's not a reason to stay in that relationship. Like you can't love like you both. Like they should be giving something back.
But then is that actually love, or is that infatuation?
I don't know, because I feel like I really love that person, but I also think that I saw like this not perfect, but like I constantly saw the good in them, and my friends would say that he wasn't a very nice person. So maybe it wasn't actually like love, because I was like almost like, I guess, maybe blinded to who he really was. So maybe I was in love with the version of him that I believe. So yeah, you're right, maybe that isn't real love. Maybe I've never actually really been in love. That's bad.
Leo.
Leo
Cameron. Still in the running.
No, God comes for miracles.
No.
Hashtag crazy faith. Do you think social media influences your perception of how a relationship should be?
Yeah.
I was saying to Kate that I feel like, especially as like a Christian woman, there's this thing where on social media people will be like, I just prayed and fasted and I met my husband and within a year was married. And then it makes you think that like you need to just pray and then you're going to meet your husband and you should get married within the exact same year. Or like if he doesn't want to marry you, if you're not within 3 months, he's not proposed to you. Like, and then it makes people feel like if they're taking things slow and moving at their own pace, or like people that have been together for like 6 years, that their partner doesn't want to actually be with them because they've been together for so long and they haven't proposed. So I feel like that's one thing that social media makes people feel like, and especially as like Christian women, that's a thing like, oh yeah, like I did this thing and then I met my husband and then within 2 weeks we was engaged, and that's not actually a good thing. Like for some people that's good for them, like that doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna work for everybody. You don't need to rush into getting married to somebody. That's a big commitment.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's one thing that we really put on social media and it's not necessarily healthy.
And because people will see then like it's a highlight reel and they'll see the like amazing dates and like the amazing day and the ring, but actually like behind all of that is a struggle. And especially like I think if you've got into something very quickly, you're then limiting the amount of time you've even been able to like find out their annoying habits and things. So I feel like you're going to give yourself a much bigger shock.
And like for some people that it has worked out like that, but that's the thing, it's like we're all individuals and you wouldn't compare somebody else's life journey in terms of like when they got a job or I don't know, you wouldn't be like, oh, I need to do it that exact same way because we're all different. But then for some reason, I don't know why it is, like I just think you don't want it to, but social media does really impact like how you feel. And I think even if you try and let it not, like even if you tell yourself, okay, let me just not pay attention, it does, like sometimes if you're feeling like, I don't know, emotional or a bit weak at the moment, or I don't know, whatever it may be, those things that you're constantly seeing do get in the back of your head and they like pop out of nowhere and you might not even think, oh, I saw that on social media, but it starts to kind of inform what your view is of a relationship, and you start competing against, like, it's weird, but we all do it, but it's like, it's not great.
I feel like as a single person, I've definitely like developed a warped opinion of relationships, and I honestly thought that like everyone was living this amazing relationship life and it was all like happy all the time, and people were like, you know, getting engaged, getting married, like buying houses together, like having babies. And I think actually it was then only after having conversations with people, like I realised that it wasn't all like sunshine and roses. Like there were other like really big struggles and like difficulties, and like that's one thing I've really learned, is that having actual conversations with people who like are like people who are dating, people who are married, like it's so important if you're single to like make sure that like your friends who are in a different place than you, like that you get wisdom from them, and that you actually have conversations and like be honest with each other, because that really helped me like have a much better understanding. And like even though there are times when obviously like anyone who's single, like sometimes it can feel really annoying and you can feel like, oh, when am I going to meet that person? If you understand like that other people haven't had it so easy, it will make you value like waiting for the right person rather than just like rushing into it.
Off the back of that, I never really used to know the ins and outs. You don't need to know everything about other people's relationships, but I think when you have this view that like, okay, if somebody's in a serious relationship, it must be perfect, or if they're engaged to be married, oh my gosh, they're like so in love. But actually, like, because nobody really tells you the truth about that, when you're actually in a relationship and you go through a tough time, or you are having an argument about something, I used to literally think like, okay, well, this is it then, it's over, like, it's not gonna work. And it's like, well, no, like, you're just having a stupid little argument that isn't long term, it's not something serious, you're just getting on each other's nerves. But then I think we don't necessarily learn how to deal with disagreements or how to deal with like different personalities, and like me and my husband both have completely different upbringings, so there are constantly things that we have to like think about. Even now, like where we've got a child, we're thinking, oh wait, okay, so you were raised that way, I was raised this way, I liked my upbringing, you liked yours, so like what are we gonna do here? And you're constantly having those kinds of conversations. But if I like bailed out at our first ever disagreement, like we wouldn't be here now, like we wouldn't be married, we wouldn't have a child. But I think like so much of it is a challenge, and you learn and grow as a person anyway, like through a relationship.
Yeah, that's like what I was saying to you earlier about like I used to think that, oh gosh, like if someone has then like upset me a bit or hurt me, then obviously that's the relationship won't work, it should be over. But actually that's not true, because even when you could get married to the love of your life and they're gonna do something that upsets you and like hurts your feelings, and like, and I think it's like remembering, that's why that self-love is so important, because it's like, no, and even like your relationship with God and that love, like because at the end of the day people are gonna let you down, and like they can't be your like everything all of the time.
Yeah, and I think it's more important to look at how the person, like, people can upset you and people can do wrong by you, and because we all make mistakes, we're all humans, but it's more how the person responds to that mistake or what they've done to hurt you or something they've said. Because if they kind of respond in a way that's like, I don't care, like, you're not worth that, or I don't know, like saying mean things still, and doesn't understand that you're feeling hurt. But if there's someone who can actually take on board what you're saying, even if they still disagree with you, it's like actually somebody listening and trying to see your point of view. I think that's really important.
It makes you not want to put your relationship on social media, because what if you break up? Do you know what I mean? Like, and then you have to like go through every single picture, and then everyone knows your business, and it's like everyone's going to be judging you. And it's like, well, like this is actually a terrible time.
I do think actually
to explain to people that we're not together anymore because I've put my whole life on social media.
Yeah, a lot of people now I think won't.
More private.
Yeah, they like won't necessarily post everything. I feel like it either goes one way or the other. They either post nothing or everything. And it's like it's finding that balance really of like, because you're right, like then you have to deal with the fact that everybody knows.
And it's like I've been that person that you've now broken up, and I need to know why. Because you've literally put your whole life on Instagram, and I need to know.
People feel like entitled to know what happened. Like if there's a YouTube couple that split up, everyone's like, you need to explain what happened. It's like, did I?
It's not really funny, but I was basically involved in your relationship because you put it out there for everyone. So I feel like I need to have a right to know. But yeah, like it just makes you think.
Yeah.
Do I even want to put this out there for the world to see, because I don't want them to be involved.
But also like maybe it's like a good thing not to necessarily put everything out there, almost
yeah,
like to
definitely
protect
agree.
yourself, like,
Yeah.
because I remember like before when I would see lots of people's like pictures of like couples and like go on holidays together and like days out, and I was like, oh, like, I can't wait to be able to like do that. But now I feel more like that.
Yeah.
Like, actually, like, why do you want to post a picture? Like, you don't. Do you even want like a good relationship, or do you just want everyone to think that you're in a great relationship?
Yeah.
Because obviously you get like family pressures where you feel like every time you go home and everyone's like, so what's new with you? And what they actually mean is like, are you dating anyone yet?
Yeah.
Like things like that, where you're just like, I just want to be able to like post stuff just so that people think I'm happy in a relationship. And actually, like, it's not about that. Like it should be about you meeting that right person and spending like organic time together.
Yeah, and that's the same with like every area of life as well. I think we all kind of fall into that trap of like, I don't know, we want the validation on social media of people to be like, oh, your life is actually great. So then that's why people put, whereas I think you have to make sure you're always living your authentic life first. And if that overspills into stuff that you feel that you want to share, then you're sharing it in an honest way, not in a way that's like,
Yeah.
But obviously, like, we don't expect people to be like posting like, okay, we just had an argument. Like, like, but yeah, I guess be wise, isn't it, about what you decide to share and what you don't.
Last question: is romantic love the most important love of all?
What does that mean?
So, because obviously, like, love comes in like different forms, like you have it from different relationships, like, but we place such a high, like, as in society places such a high value, like, we have Love Island, we don't have Friend Island, because people don't value like your friendship love as much as like,
that'd be a great show.
I know. But like I feel like it's more just looking at like what, like, is romantic love the most important? Is that why we place so much value on it?
Well, obviously when you get married, you're committing yourself to that person for life. You're letting everybody know that you're committing yourself to that person, and that's going to be your life partner. Whereas your friendships you're not making that commitment to the world. Like, oh, okay, like, we've committed to being friends forever. Like,
yeah, we have.
Don't break up with me.
No, I am committed to you, but obviously that's your life partner. So that's why it's probably one of the most important loves of your life. But then if we put that in our mindset, it can be unhealthy. For example, when people like put their romantic love over like their kids, or like over certain family members, or over their friendships, and that's not what it's about. You shouldn't have to choose. So it is, I would say it's probably one of the most important loves, but like your friendships and your family are as equally important, but it's just about making sure you have a healthy balance and you have time to maintain them, because you're going to need all of them in your life.
It's difficult, and isn't it, because I think like the Bible talks a lot about marriage and like God's plan for marriage, and it's mentioned a lot. So it's like, if it wasn't important, then it wouldn't be in the Bible. Then I also think you don't have to be in a relationship, like, you don't have to be married to get into heaven. And I'm like, when you think of like like your priorities in life, or like what God's plan is for humanity, I think that's part and parcel of like one of the joys that we have of being human, and that we can connect with others, but it's not the be all and end all. And I think we've definitely elevated it to way more of a higher position than it should be. And I think especially when you have people who kind of believe in God and they want to live their lives as a Christian, but then they can't find someone who is like on the same wavelength as them, so they're willing to just like step away from God, step away from church, so that they can have a partner. And it's like, that's when you start elevating it over God. And I think our relationship with God is really important, with family is so important, and friends definitely.
I would say, like, I definitely do not think that it is the most important, because like, one thing that I've really learned through being single is like what you said, like, I've been in situations where I have then compromised on who I've dated, and it's never ended well, and like, I feel like both people have got hurt sometimes as well in that situation. And I think one thing I've really understood now is that like it does get elevated, and it's not the be all and end all, but like you loving yourself and loving who God has made you to be has to come first, because I've realised through working through that how I probably wasn't even necessarily going to be able to love someone else as much, like as well as I could, because I didn't value myself. And so I think, like, if you just focus on the fact that, like, you are loved fully by God, like 100%, no matter who you are, and then it's like work on like loving who He's made you to be, and then I feel like the romantic love comes below that, because then once you've got those two things sorted, you're then able to like
filter down.
So I feel like it's not like, people shouldn't like make out that if I don't have a romantic love in my life that I'm unfulfilled.
But then also some people don't even desire that for themselves, and the most important thing for them is literally the friendship that they have in their life and the fun that they have in their life. That's the most important, and they genuinely don't desire any romantic love. So you shouldn't like look at those people and think that they're having a less of a life or a less fulfilled life, because they're probably more fulfilled than someone that desires it and hasn't got it.
100%.
And also like it really like when you're like in a relationship or like and in love and stuff, it really like takes up quite a big part of your life, because you have to invest into it. And like I remember thinking, I think it must have been like the end of this year or the beginning end of last year, sorry, I was like writing in my journal and I was like, I'm actually so thankful for all of the friendships that I have. And I wouldn't like, I've been away last year so many times with my friends, and if I was in a relationship I wouldn't have done that. And it's like actually like enjoying that, even though you still want that love from someone, you can like, there's so much that life has to offer you even when you don't have it. So I kind of just think like don't elevate it and make it into like it's the be all and end all.
It's not like the pinnacle of your life.
No.
It's not like, oh my gosh, achieved it. Now I can never do anything ever again.
It's like actually I really wish that I had realised this sooner, because I feel like I spent so many times like wanting it in a way that, 'cause wanting it's not bad, but in a way that it was like it made me upset, and I feel like I wish I just knew that like not having it gave me space for other kinds of love with different, like with my friends and family. And I think like you just have to appreciate that.
It can be something that you desire, but it can't be something that needs to make you happy.
Totally.
No, I love that. Cool, well, great chat guys. We hope that you guys all really enjoyed watching this. If you head over to girlgotfaith.com, we've got lots of articles on like dating, relationships and things. And then also don't forget to check out our Instagram and drop us a comment below and let us know what you guys think love is. Thanks, bye.
Happy Valentine's Day.